feels so good. The original group is back together. Look at us.
Look at us all.
Woo!
Look at us.
Hands in.
Look at us. Okay, yeah. Hey. Woo. Yay. Ken was so reluctant to do that.
Yeah, I didn't like it very much, to be honest with you.
Well, what would be better?
Well, I just like, see, you guys look at this as a family, but I'm here to win the argument.
Oh,
Okay.
You know? So,
yeah.
like,
I'll just
I'm not
guide
here to make
conversation.
friends. You know what I'm saying?
He is a no-nonsense kind of guy.
I'm not
Don't
trying to
invite
make
me over
friends
for
out here,
Thanksgiving.
dude. Nah, you weren't invited.
Well, he'll be at the Lions game enjoying it. There we go, because he's all about business. Welcome to DSP, along with Derek, with Ben, and with Ken. I am Hobie. And guys, preseason is completely done.
Thank goodness.
I know, thank God.
It was brutal.
Brutal.
Oh, it was
okay,
terrible.
if you could describe it in one word, what would it be? Since, of course, the starters really didn't play.
Meaningless.
Brutal. Oh, but we have brutal,
Clunky.
clunky,
Useless.
and useless.
You won. Yeah.
Yes.
Was it really useless, though?
For us as fans,
Depends
for
on the
sure.
team. For the Lions, it felt close to useless.
It wasn't useless for some players, like
Yeah.
trying to.
What was more
but, like,
useless, the preseason or Hendon Hooker?
Stop. Stop. We get back together, and then you have to come in with the hot takes already. Not really. But, I mean, I think the main headline coming out of this is that the Lions do have their number 2 quarterback. We're
Yes,
pretty
I
sold
think
on,
so.
on Kyle Allen. Would you go out and go for somebody else, or is he your guy behind Jared Goff after what you saw?
I feel like if you go out and get somebody else, you're most likely to just get what you're seeing out of Kyle Allen. Like, he's basically performing almost exactly like you hope your backup quarterback is. He's a veteran who's proven he's not good enough to be a starter, so he's not going to threaten your starter. But he looks like he could probably keep you afloat for a game or two if absolutely need be.
No QB controversy in Allen Park.
Well, give it like 2 weeks of Jared Goff rust.
Goff throws one pick. They're like, maybe Kyle Allen should get a shot.
Kyle Allen is about as good as a backup QB can be, right? On your roster, you know, he looks like he can come in and save you for a game or two, but he looks better than like Nate Sudfeld or those guys that look like they were just going to give you nothing.
Sure.
I think the only better thing you can get is like having like a Tony Romo on your roster where you just, somebody who comes out of nowhere, but then you want to make him your starter. So I think Kyle Allen's about as good as you're going to get.
Yeah.
Tony Romo.
Nice pull.
Yeah, great pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I guess we found out that TeSlaa is a legit wide receiver option for the team. That's promising.
I mean, you said that the preseason was useless, though. He was exciting in every single game. If we are looking for the silver lining in every single game for the silver and Honolulu blue, it was number 18 on the field.
Yeah.
For sure.
Especially for a guy that they draft. I mean, they draft him. It's like, oh, it's a cool story. It's the Michigan guy who went to a small school, then went to Arkansas, became something, and then you see him here. Forget like cute story. This is like a legitimate weapon that the Lions could have in their offense moving forward.
Yeah, he's probably the headliner of the preseason. Like, Kyle Allen winning the number 2 quarterback job is probably the most substantial thing that happened during the preseason games. But Isaac TeSlaa was sort of introduced to us. He probably didn't need, like, the games. He was probably proving that he's a legitimate NFL receiver in the practices. But he was the most fun to watch, and he does a really good worm.
Yeah, he looks like a stud.
Excellent work.
Really good worm.
Yeah, absolute stud. He's Jamo's replacement next year. I mean, he'll be our wide receiver, too, opposite of Amon-Ra.
Time out. Year ago at this time. Hold on. Let's rewind the tape. Mr. Jamo is going to have more receiving yards than Amon-Ra. I wish we had the clip.
Jamo.
I know you love Jamo, which is like shocking to me that you already think he's going to be off of the roster moving forward.
Yeah, he's moved on that much. He's
Jeez.
He not only is he over JMO being the number 1 receiver, he's just trying to up his trade value.
I've seen this movie play out so many times. Jamo's going to have an amazing year. He's probably going to have a better year this year, but you know what's going to happen at the end of the season. He's going to want that contract, and we have his 5th-year option, but I just don't think we're paying him $100 million. I don't think we are.
I was just giving you grief, but I am with you because that's a lot to want to pay a guy who, for this Lions offense, he's kind of a luxury to have just the burner that can take the top off of a defense. But also you have guys like Tyreek Hill, who've made a name for themselves doing just that, and we see how much he means to Miami's offense. We saw how much he meant to Patrick Mahomes whenever he was in Kansas City. I don't know. There's going to be a tough decision to make, and the Lions do have a lot of tough decisions to make right now whenever it comes to cutting down this roster, but also in the future, too.
You also don't see very often the organizations that have, like, consistent winning atmospheres and teams that are competitive like year after year, they don't spend a ton of money on skill players. Like they kind of pick and choose. They let people walk, and they kind of just fill through the draft. So you're right. I mean, if that's that kind of feels like Brad Holmes is doing. He's locked up his core. There's a couple more out there that he's probably going to try and get, but. Yeah, at some point you can't keep everybody, right? So a wide receiver is an expendable position when you can draft the way Brad Holmes does.
Yeah, I think Ben's absolutely right. I think that this was a move the Lions made looking towards the future in a world where they're not going to pay Amon-Ra St. Brown and another wide receiver big money. So, whether he's traded or whether he's here for 2 more years, I think that the Jameson Williams window is shortening, obviously, and TeSlaa looks early, like a guy who could help bridge that gap. And to Ken's point, you don't pay all these skill guys big money. You got a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown to be kind of your rock, and you can sort of fill in with specific skills around that. So if JMO is gone, you need a guy who can open up the field, right? You don't need an elite receiver. You just need a guy who can open up the field. And the Lions have put themselves in a position where they can sort of get those guys later in the draft.
Yeah, do you want JMO or Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah, I want
That's almost where they're going to be.
I mean, seriously.
I mean, I want Sam Laporta over either of those guys. Like Sam Laporta to me provides a skill set that is more difficult to find.
Sam Laporta over Jahmyr Gibbs, though.
Yep.
Wait, hold on. That's our second time out of the half.
Yep.
We have 1 timeout remaining. What? No.
No way.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love
Sam Laporta.
but like,
Let's see what Jahmyr Gibbs looks like in a few years once he's a first-round running back, right? So they've got him for 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years of hits for a running back.
Yeah, but he's not.
Signing
But he's
Sam
got to
Laporta.
get hit. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's not your
Like
typical running back.
watching
With
joint
this-
practices, and look, I know you're not supposed to tackle to the ground in joint practice. He was making people miss left and right. And everybody wants to say, like, oh, he's going to have so much more expectation because everybody knows who he is coming into this season. He is a legitimate potential number 1 running back in the NFL.
Yeah, and I think Sam Laporta is a legitimate potential number 1 tight end.
Could be.
Yep.
Now, if we're having this
make me use that third
conversation,
timeout.
if we're having this conversation in like the next contract cycle for these guys, then I'll probably side more with you, because the way I look at and I've said this since they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, what they are doing with him, what Detroit is doing with him, is identical to what the Saints are doing with Alvin Kamara. It really is.
sure.
And Alvin Kamara he's still a good player because he is like the Saints' gym player. But looking at what he did, the run he had for like 6 years, he was untouchable. He was the best running back in football. So if we're having this conversation in a few years, I'll side with you. But like right now, I think that in a lot of ways, Jahmyr Gibbs, because of his versatility, is the key that's going to make this offense go.
So
like not only this year, but the year after that.
Here's the question.
And maybe the year after that.
Laporta's not a first-round pick, so they're going to have to make that decision a year before they have to make the Jahmyr Gibbs decision. So the Lions aren't going to have the luxury of waiting until the final buzzer to make.
I think they'll have to make it at the same time because Jahmyr Gibbs is a running back. He ain't making it to a free agent year. They're going to have to sign him before he gets to that 5th year option.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have to sign him after this year if you're going to make that decision.
All right, only
Sign
one
them both.
timeout. Sign them both. There we go. The cap is a myth. We move on.
It totally is. Yeah,
We talked so much about the offense, but this Lions defense, last year, it's no secret, this was just a depleted unit. This year, they've all talked in training camp about how they're finally healthy, and it's kind of like a reunion, kind of like what we're having right now, but everybody is back together. Where do you set the bar for that Lions defense going into this season?
They got to be.
Could it be the best in the NFL?
They got to be at least in the top 15.
the best defense in the
Could
NFL?
it be? Honestly, I'm asking the honest question.
I don't think
People
they'll be the
talk-
top.
Wait, there's our third timeout.
If they can crack the top 10, that's great.
Okay?
I'm thinking like between 7 and 10.
People are talking about this being one of, if not the best secondary in the NFL. People talking about Aiden Hutchinson already returning to an all-pro potential defensive player of the year candidate. I mean, those are your 2 levels right there. Linebackers who are rangy and can get after, and who can kind of do everything. What would stop them from being that?
I'm not there yet. If Aleem McNeil was like fully healthy, that would help a lot. On the defensive line, you've got Aiden Hutchinson coming off a major injury. Like, they can tell me he's all the way back all they want. I need to see it in games. And then the other 3 spots, I'm like, on the D-line, I
Tyleek's
just don't
look
really
pretty good.
know.
Marcus
Sure,
Davenport.
he probably looks good, but he's also a rookie. So
Yeah.
I need to see that too. The linebacking unit, I think they're good. Are they top 10 in the NFL? I really don't know. I do think the secondary is solid, but let's not act like there weren't cornerback issues last year. So I'm not ready to talk about best in the NFL.
If
with
they're
this
healthy.
group. Yeah, right, for sure.
If they stay healthy, is there a chance?
I mean, I think they'll be super improved, but I don't think they're going to be a top unit in the NFL. I think there are a couple players still away, especially with a new coordinator. Calvin Shep, I'm a big Calvin Shepard fan. In fact, I think the linebackers are our most improved unit because of Calvin Shepard. He gets the most out of those linebackers. You know, Nick Cunningham has looked pretty good in like a reserve role. And then, you know, you still got, Jack Campbell, I expect to take another jump.
He's such a Jack Campbell guy.
I think Jack Campbell is that guy, though.
In Ben's defense, they've talked about him being the leader of that defense this year.
And you still got Anzalone, Derek Barnes has come back, and then, you know, you still got Malcolm Rodriguez back there. Grant Stewart.
When he comes back.
Grant Stewart, if he's there for depth, I mean, that's a really strong unit.
He had a really fun preseason too, I should say.
He did.
Grant
I love
Stewart.
it.
Maybe not the kick returns, but,
returns
but I
is a
mean,
weird
on defense,
choice,
he
but-
was all over the place.
I will say, just for, just throwing it out there, the Lions are top 5 projected fantasy defense. Fantasy football
Ooh.
defense. Now, maybe they're just thinking Kirby Joseph is going to have like 20 pick sixes, something like that. But I did think that was interesting because usually those fantasy defenses are like, pretty in line with the top 5, 10 defenses. in
Oh,
the
so
league,
they
like,
could
on
be
the
top
field.
5 is what you're saying.
So I'm just saying that maybe I think they could be a top 10
Yeah.
defense. If everything works out, they could be a top 10 defense for sure.
Well, the Lions do have depth this year if they can stay healthy. But here's what Dan Campbell had to say earlier today on his defense heading into 2025.
It's a real good unit. We stay healthy. We continue to grow, get better. We learn from our errors. We've got guys that are playmakers. We got guys that are smart. We can make a lot of checks. We can get in a lot of different calls. We can create turnovers. So we got to stay healthy and we got to keep getting better. There'll be things that we get exposed on that we got to learn from and we got to clean up, just like offense. So I like where we're at. And believe me, man, nobody wants to play this in all 3 phases more than I do. And I want to find out how many different ways can we win games. Like that's let's get good at winning. And I don't care what it looks like. I really don't. As long as we believe we're playing clean football and we're playing up to our standard, that's all I care about.
Put that one on a T-shirt too. You have some rapid fire questions for us, by the way.
All right, real quick. These are going to be really
Okay.
fast. On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about the new coordinators? Because this preseason, it was preseason, but there were so many penalties. Things looked clunky. And so I'm just wondering what your guys' level of concern is.
4.
A 4?
I'm going to go 2 because that's probably how many starters saw the field in the preseason.
6.
I think I'm right there with you on a 6.
Okay.
What do you think the most improved unit coming into this year is going to be?
The defense. Is that what you meant?
I mean, or like, a positional unit.
The secondary?
I'm with you.
The defensive line. Most improved from the end of last season.
Okay.
I think DJ Reed can be a game changer.
Yeah.
Okay. I think our linebackers are going to be just fire this year. Does Kyle Allen ease all backup QB concerns?
Yes.
Yep.
As much as one can. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And then if you're Brad Holmes and you're making cuts, who's your big surprise cut? For me, it's Sione Vaki. I think he's just, while it was a nice idea, I just don't see any real contribution from him.
And also, you have to be on the field to make an impression. And unfortunately,
Yes.
injuries held him back this preseason.
Yes.
Mine, Tim Patrick. As much as great of a story as he is, and having a resurgent season last year, I think we were just like shining about Isaac TeSlaa a while ago, and I think there's only room for one in this offense, barring an injury. There's only room for one of these
But
two
do you feel
guys.
comfortable cutting that veteran presence?
That is the
for
question.
him?
That is the question you have to ask yourself because you're also pretty set too of J-Mo, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Sam Laporta had such a dip last year that's going to come back up. And if you've got to get him some touches and in a new offense, I mean, tight end can be a quarterback's best friend. So I think that one of the two is going to be on the roster, and that would be my surprise one.
Yeah. Tim Patrick's a really good one. Shout out Jason Colthorpe. He said the same thing.
It's got to be Tim Patrick. I can't even think of anyone else.
Sorry, Tim.
If there was one. If there was one.
That also speaks to just how good this roster is.
Yeah.
This is just
No starters played in the preseason. So how long do you think, and do you think it's going to hurt him in these first 3 games? At Green Bay, Bears at home, and then at the Ravens?
normally I would say yes, but after watching joint practices, I have no concerns that they can go up against somebody else and be ready.
I'm not worried about that at all. Nope.
Nope. 15-2 last year after not playing one snap. So
Yeah, same here. Because the other teams really didn't play their starters either. So they're really really the real preseason for everybody.
The one thing I will say, and I said this earlier, is from an operational standpoint and having a guy in the booth calling plays down, you're starting on the road, you have some big games on the road this year. That would be my one hesitation of getting that operational, procedural type thing going where you don't have that yet. But, of course, that's going to figure itself out in week 1.
That's a good point.
In Green Bay, and we will see as the Lions kick off the season, not this weekend, but next. However, this weekend, it is a new era in college football in Ann Arbor with a new starting QB. Much more on the Bryce Underwood news coming up on DSP.